from Journey Dog Training, and Barley and I are going to teach you and your dogs how to do the selfie trick today. So this is an adorable trick, in my opinion, where your dog puts his head on your shoulder and then you guys can take a really cute picture. Or in some cases with smaller dogs or maybe larger people, your dog will actually put his paws up on your shoulder. Barley and I could do that, but we're choosing not to. I'm 5'2". I'm not very big, and Barley's generally around 50 pounds, so I just would rather not have him climbing on my back in general. That might change in the future, but for now, that's not how I've chosen to do this. So I approach this behavior from two different angles, and one angle was much more successful for me. So my first goal, or my first idea, was I was going to teach Barley a chin rest behavior on a piece of cloth that I was going to use as his target. So he was going to learn that whenever he saw the piece of cloth, his job was to go put his chin on it. Okay? And then ultimately my goal was to generalize that to a bunch of different surfaces, and then eventually put that cloth on my shoulder so that he was targeting his chin to my shoulder, putting his chin on my shoulder, and then I was going to eventually get rid of the cloth. Okay? That approach was not the winning approach for us because honestly I got impatient. It's a great way to teach it, and as a bonus, you get a chin rest behavior. Good. So, here, stand. Good. So now Barley and I do have a chin rest behavior, so that's good. Good. Which is super useful for medical stuff, but ultimately that was not the way that we have found to be more successful for us for the selfie trick. Also, full disclosure, Barley and I are not really done with this trick. We're still working on it. What I found to be more successful instead was I set myself up on the floor last night and I moved these two chairs. You guys are currently propped up on one chair. So that I was in between them, and there was a chair here and a chair here. And then I put treats behind me, and then I held to get Barley behind me, and he was kind of in this funnel behind me. And then I held a treat here. And when he put his head on my shoulder to come grab that treat, I released the treat. And I was trying to feed right from kind of my sternum to get him to really tuck his chin up and over my shoulder. I'm just at the point now where he was doing that pretty consistently, and I started adding a verbal cue, which I'm saying, say cheese. And once he gets to the point where he's successful with that, maybe 10 times in a row, pretty quickly, pretty easily, I'm going to start moving those chairs away and getting it to the point where he doesn't need those chairs to kind of funnel him in to get behind me. Barley is very focused on my face. We have a really, really hard time doing tricks where he cannot be facing me. So this trick has been really hard for us. So I'm going to show you guys kind of where we're at. And again, I would recommend doing that kind of getting yourself wedged in between something and starting to get there. So what Barley and I are going to do is we're going to get him behind me. Good. Say cheese. Yep. So clearly not quite there yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this treat. Good. And again, I'm feeding right from my shoulder here. Barley isn't quite tall enough to really comfortably get up and over my shoulder, so that's part of it for him as well. Again, with a smaller dog, you're actually going to probably want your dog to put his paws up on your shoulder, in which case you can use the paws up trick that I taught in my most recent video right before this one to get there, okay? So we're going to get Barley behind me with the treat. Get the treat. Good. Up and over. And then we're going to feed at my sternum. Say cheese. Good. Good. And then to reset, grabbing a treat, putting it behind me, keep him behind me. And again, so this is why Barley and I were using that funnel to keep him from coming around and coming to try to look and pant directly into my face. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to lure it again. Good. Okay. Go ahead and get him up and over. Say cheese. Good. Good boy. Super cute, right? Again, this is not an easy trick. Good. But you'll get there. Good boy. The tricky thing I found with this one is I was having a hard time remembering to feed over here occasionally to get him to a place where he had to come back. Okay, so say cheese. Good boy. I also, word of caution for those of you who are used to using a clicker, I would not necessarily recommend using a clicker for this treat because your hands are so often so close to both of your ears. Just, you know, not like I'm speaking from experience, but if you've got a decently loud clicker, I would not recommend that, okay? So again, obviously this is still very much so a trick in progress for me and Barley. We just started working on it like 2 days ago, but that's kind of our process. You guys will get there as well, and if you guys want to teach the paws up version, if you've got a smaller dog or you really want your dog to put his paws up on your shoulders, super cute way to do it. Again, last video, so the most recent one before this one in my feed is all about teaching your dog how to do that trick, and then you can basically transition that to having your dog put his paws on your shoulder, okay? So again, you can find Barley on Instagram. He is at Collie Without Borders, with a period between Collie and without and wait. Yeah, and then another period between without and borders, so collie.without.borders. And I am at journeydogtraining.com. You guys can find ebooks, courses, blogs, all of these training videos, and you guys can also hire me for private virtual training, all there on journeydogtraining.com.